let's talk about your first impressions of the President's State of the Nation address. You can talk about the tone first before you go into substance. Go ahead, sir.
I was impressed with the opening statement about the high growth rate of the country this past year, and yet the feeling of most Filipinos is that they're not experiencing these high growth rates. So this self criticism uh, was very important. But after that, it it went downwards, like a report on your professor about what you have done this past year. So, kailangan mo talaga tuloy-tuloy na English to.
Ilang baon.
Maybe,
Pero mas
maybe,
may pa.
may thesaurus, may thesaurus.
Bawat na Ingles.
Parang kinakapos na ako eh. Kinapos ako. Dalawang sentence ko lang, kinapos na ako.
May thesaurus sa likod mo, may thesaurus.
Pagod na, no?
Nakaka-intimidate.
Naubos ba sa guesting kanina? Saan ba? Rapper? Saan pa?
Oo, medyo Englishan sa Rappler kanina.
Okay. Sige, you were saying?
So yung opening at saka ending is the most defining part of the SONA. Yung everything in between ay medyo mutik ako makatulog.
Okay, sige. Masyado kasing mataas ang standards ng mga kausap natin, no? Si the late Edu Manzanas, pumanap agad, no? Pero, sige, let's go back to Alan. Compared to his previous State of the Nation addresses or speeches, how would you rank this third one? Was it an
I would say
improvement?
it's the best. It's the best, I would say, so far. Again, you have to contextualize that dahil ano yung barometer. Pero despite the fact that the good Senator Edu Manzanas is saying that there was a devolution, that it slowly spiraled down as it went on, you have to. Well, I have to say that it was the best of the three he's given so far.
Sige. When it comes to substance, let's talk about the good points first. Kasi mahirap naman sabihin na it's all that bad, no? At saka introduction na yung maganda. Saka siguro yung ending that was quoting, that sounded too smart actually, no? Para napakatalino ng speech because of that very powerful ending. Saka meron pa talagang ganun, no? May gigil. Okay, good points first. When you talk about the substance, no? Prof. Shelo.
Yeah. Well, three policy reversals of previous administration: POGO, drugs, and West Philippine Sea. So I think those policy reversals are very powerful and very memorable with respect to the SONA speech. Lots of data. Nagsubok akong humabol. And as Secretary Lama said, it's an enumeration of programs and projects. Sometimes I tried to look for framework or parameters to guide this enumeration. Most of the time, it's lacking. But of course, as I said, from a public finance perspective, after all these enumerations of programs and projects, I really worry how he's gonna finance this enumeration. In the previous speeches, he identified several policies, priority policies that would finance the programs of the administration. In fact, part of the previous speeches also identified the targets in terms of how we're going to lower the deficit and the government debt. This time, there was no mention of that, but that's one of the major problems of the country right now, the ballooning debt, and no strategy was mentioned.
By the way, may talk about details or as to how to finance those programs and projects. Do they have to be included, at least basically all of them, in the speech itself? Or people can wait for the so-called SONA technical report where each promise can be discussed in greater detail?
From my perspective, it's very important to identify priority policies. For example, in the past year, as part of the revenue mobilization of the administration, we've identified key legislations that are necessary to be able to reduce the deficit and manage the debt. Unfortunately, very few of those legislations passed. And I guess with the new pronouncement that no new taxes will be imposed by the administration, I think it's very critical that they elaborate how they're going to finance all these promises that they made this afternoon.
Okay. Professor Holmes.
Yeah. Well, what I noticed in the speech, I listened to the first 10 minutes and then eventually I just led the SONA. No? Is that I agree. There's a lot of expenditure items there. Anything and everything, including an expansion of the 4Ps. But since there was no mention whatsoever of sourcing, and then pretty soon they'll be submitting a budget, which is the highest. It's up to us now to scrutinize whether that budget would be basically financed by more debts, loans, because just talking about PhilHealth extension of PhilHealth benefits, that means bringing back the 90 billion that was transferred. Is that the case? Because those benefits, and a number of those benefits are not even being given yet. Of course, they were announced by the president. It's an opportune time for him to announce it in the SONA. But to me, it's really a question of where would they get the money to finance all of these expenses. I do agree that those are expenses that are necessary, the assistance that you need to give for teachers, for students. But eventually, there has to be some prioritization there. It's the same old SONA that we've seen in the past. What's missing now is that, in the past, I remember under the administration of the late President Noynoy Aquino, the technical report came and the SONA was uploaded at the same time as the President was delivering the SONA. This time around, I have not seen the technical report yet because that technical report is quite important insofar as maybe it will contain a segment on public finance, but that's not in any way covered by the president. One good thing that I noticed is that there was no discussion about charter change. Maybe he and the Senate president spoke because the Senate president was saying they put at the back burner any discussion of charter change.
Yeah, okay. And I think charter change, the main proponent is one of the two gentlemen sitting behind the president, si Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, whose accent, by the way, was quite superb when he delivered the speech earlier in the morning. So we could only dream of such an English accent, the way he delivered that. Okay, before I call on Alan, si Alan Herman, is an economist yan, no? Makakala nyo, PR guy yan. Ano yan?
You're saying this in front of Professor Chelo. That's like saying I'm a boxer and you're saying it in front of Pacquiao. So don't be disingenuous, Christian.
Hindi, seryoso yan, seryoso. Sige, si Prof. Edu, I think, Prof. Edu, Sec. Edu, or Senator Edu, I think he has recovered. Okay na ba? Medyo seryoso na yung mukha, no? Okay na ba?
Yeah. Let's talk about sectoral issues, like, for example, housing. At the start of President Bongbong's term, they promised 1 million houses per year, 6 million up to the end of his term. I think even now, in almost 3 years of his government, there is barely 100,000 houses which have been created. So where is the 1 million per year na housing targets?
At revised target yun, di ba? Tama ba? That was a revised target in itself. At ni-revise because walang budget.
It's not only about budget. It's about where will you create the houses. No? Yun yung isang problema dito sa housing na ito. Kaya nga masyadong optimistic yung target ni Secretary Jerry Acosar. Kalawa yung the school houses. When they started, there was a deficit of 90,000 schoolhouses. Now, it has increased to 160,000. So, hindi na bawasan yung deficit in terms of schoolhouses. Kalawa is agrarian reform. This agrarian reform has been protracted since the time of Macapagal. You will succeed in agrarian reform by doing it quickly. It cannot be protracted, especially nowadays when it is being plagued by land conversion. So where is agrarian reform now? In spite of the 57 billion absorption of farmers' debts last year, agrarian reform is nowhere to be seen nowadays. Agriculture, uh, a lot of the food inflation is because of low productivity in agriculture. For the first time since the second SONA, you have a full-time Secretary of Agriculture. What has happened since then? I haven't heard much from the Secretary of Agriculture up to now. Is productivity high? Will it alter the high price of rice? I'm not sure. Fourth, labor. Uh, the president is talking about the lowering of unemployment rates in the country, but he never mentioned anything about underemployment. Underemployment is still significantly high, and this is the main criticism of labor about labor policies. Aside from labor contracting, aside from minimum wage increase, which was the first time labor asked for a minimum wage increase since 1989, and it's just 150 pesos wage increase. What was given was 35 pesos. So these are sectoral issues which I think the president could have done more in this State of the Nation address.